You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Chrissie, and joining me is my co-host, Thad. Thad, how are you doing today?
Well, I just finished putting all the cordry rocks back in the ceiling so that the next time there's an incident, they'll fall on everyone's heads.
That's good. That's really important. I was so happy. We'll talk about it, but I was just like, oh my god, there's an explanation for that.
Chrissie, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm learning about Earth history things that as a human I never learned. But of course, the Orions know all about it. So,
well, naturally.
Also joining us today is Donny Winter of Growing Up with Godzilla and Restitching the Tapestry. Donny, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here. I am on my way back from sick bay, realizing I don't have that high of a pain tolerance.
You know, that's okay. High pain tolerance, I think, is overrated in day-to-day normal life.
Right.
So would you say you're not set to kill, Donny?
I am set to stun.
Always.
There's been moments I've been set to kill.
Same.
I don't have those.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make this show possible, particularly our associate producer, Carl Wonders. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10. And your subscription of any amount at patreon.com/BQN keeps all of the shows on the network ad-free. All right. The third to the last episode of Lower Decks. Sad. I keep saying that every week, but it's true.
How are we collectively, no pun intended, feeling about the end of Lower Decks? Because I am still very much in denial about it.
I think that's a good way to put it.
I don't want the game to end. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
In many ways, I kind of feel like it's the end of an era because, you know, Discovery is done, Lower Decks isn't done, Prodigy, well, we don't know what's happening with Prodigy, but...
We still have Strange New Worlds.
This is true. We still have Strange New Worlds.
Thank the gods. I was really expecting Lower Decks to go on forever.
Yeah.
You know, the Simpsons of Trek, or the Family Guy of Trek, as it were, but, you know, because you don't have to be concerned with people aging, you don't have to be concerned with people even being in the same place at the same time. It's like, so I was very, very surprised when they announced that it was done. So,
in my delusional brain, which is often delusional, I have this hope that maybe they will bring it back, because I know that's happened with other animated series before. So, do we need to buy a plane to fly a banner again? Because maybe we will. Paramount, CBS, what are you doing?
I do know when they did the big panel at New York Comic Con with Mike McMahon and some of the cast, whenever someone would say, and this is the last season of Lower Decks, they were very quick to always add on Paramount Plus. So, yeah, I think there's hope that it may continue in some way, and even if it doesn't necessarily get picked up as a series on another network, I think there's a good possibility we might have the occasional Lower Decks special.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. And it's perfect for that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to do that with anything else.
I was listening to another Lower Decks podcast, Second Contact on the Nerd Party Network, and they were saying...
Oh, yeah. Shout out. Great podcast. Listen when you're done with ours.
Yeah. and they were saying that... well, because Rick and Morty kind of does this thing where they do, like, a new episode every, like, couple months or every month, depending. But, like, they don't do, like, the normal seasons anymore so much. And Lower Decks could do that. We could have like our monthly or bi-monthly Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be all right with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It didn't seem like anybody, like any of the big names involved were like, oh, I need to move on, or doing other things. I mean, they are. Tawny Newsome particularly is doing that
Yeah, and Jack Quaid is
workplace
always in, like,
comedy,
40 different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the last season of The Boys.
And Eugene Cordero is also super busy. He's in a ton of things.
That's true.
But
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's voice acting. It's not to diminish voice acting, because I certainly
by
can't
no
do it,
means.
but it is absolutely a talent and important. But my point is, it can be done without impacting one's schedule as much as a live action role.
Yeah.
Well, and if you, listening to many of their interviews, like, this is very much a project near and dear to their hearts too. So I feel like given the opportunity, they would very quickly want to take up the mantle of their characters again.
I would hope so. Yeah.
I mean, I always go back to what Jack Quaid said about recording some of the early episodes in a closet at a hotel. So it's like, that tells you that you can do quality stuff and not necessarily be in the best of locations to do it. So yeah. But anyway, we're not there yet. So I love how Paramount, the little blurb that Paramount has, it's where to go? The Lower Deckers have a pumpkin carving party.
Not technically wrong.
Not technically wrong at all. Just funny. Yeah, so we start out, it's our gallant crew has a day off, or at least part of a day off, and they're carving pumpkins because it's Halloween-ish.
You don't normally see the commanders carving V'ger.
That's true. This is true. Mariner got stuck in a painting during an away mission. I want that story, as usual. Yeah. Bring back
I feel like that could have been a
maybe
whole
how to do
episode. That could have been a whole episode of Lower Decks.
I wonder if that was even possibly like they had that like on the back burner for next season, so they snuck this in as a sort of homage to the episode they weren't able to do.
I wonder how much of that there is, because there's been some offhand comments about stuff where you go, that seems like it should be a whole thing. So,
yeah.
I already mentioned the thing about them saying, is it sad that Tendi knows more of our history than we do? And speaking as somebody who teaches history, yes, the alien species that are watching us are probably know about our history than most people. But so as they're carving the pumpkins, they're talking about how things seem to revolve around them, and they don't know what the upper deckers do all the time. And at one point, remember which one says that it seems like we're the stars of our own show, which is just a nice little touch to the fourth wall that Lower Decks just sneaks up to and doesn't quite break. So what did you think of this week's episode, Donnie? That's where I should have started with this, just overall.
So one thing I really love about Lower Decks in general is that it's not afraid to experiment. It's not afraid to flip the narratives upside down and take like all of the classic things we love about Star Trek and kind of invert them. I feel like this episode very much was like the opposite of the TNG episode, Lower Decks, right? We're like,
yes.
And because that episode very much kind of, I mean, the bridge crew was present, but like, it really honed in on like those secondary characters. This did the exact opposite, because the bridge crew, right, are the secondary characters. And it felt hilarious, because even though the bridge crew, they were experiencing some wild things, it felt almost like a sense of normalcy, because we were just being exposed to the bridge crew. That's what we are exposed to every series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed this episode. I feel like it allowed a lot of those bridge crew characters to get developed a little bit, especially ones that I feel like are notoriously underutilized, like Dr. Anna, who is one of my favorite characters. But yeah, in a nutshell, those are my thoughts about this particular episode.
Excellent. Thad, what were you thinking about the episode as a whole?
I really enjoy it. Yes, it is definitely an inverse of Lower Decks. It also, in general, is a very much a play on so many tropes from TNG, because like each of the Upper Deckers stories is done to be an homage to the kind of B stories that TNG would do.
Yes.
This is a theme for me now. This is the second time this season that the first time I saw the episode, I thought it was okay. And then the second time I watched it, I realized that I had, like, either not been in the right mood or just was missing some of what made it so good, because I really liked it the second time I watched it.
It's good. Yeah, this was a fun one. It hadn't occurred to me that they might do one focusing on the senior officers in this way, but it actually is. It's something we all should have been expecting, because that's perfect flipping the script the way they do. So, all right. Well, so we have our moments with the Lower Deckers, and then it's time to see what the officers are doing. So we go to the morning briefing, because it's not a Star Trek without a PowerPoint presentation and a briefing. So what's happening on the ship today? Lieutenant Barnes is recovering from the Zerta pathogen, which appears to be Barclay protomorphosis syndrome combined with superintelligence or something like that. I absolutely love it.
So it's like two different Barclay problems combined, because it's like...
You're right. What is Zerta? I'm just thinking I should have looked that up. What is Zerta?
That I don't know.
No, maybe there's a reference there. We will ask the Google machine. First thing that comes up. Zerta was an ancient Catholic titular episcopal see of the Roman province of Numidia in Algeria. Okay, yeah.
That's probably not it.
No. No. And then the next thing that comes up that isn't a Trek reference is about the Transformers. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. I was kind of hoping I was forgetting a connection to something else Barclay did. So we have that, and then we have increased chatter from the Clickets, which is an insectoid group who hate being complimented to the point that it undermines their capacity to function, apparently. I was hoping this was going to be the little things from Schisms.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, but that's okay. It worked out all right. And then I thought it was well, I'll get to that. And then the next thing is that they are hosting a Starfleet ecologist by the name of Zirkle, who is studying what Ransom calls space cows called bagoons, which to me kind of look like a cross between the Ceti Alpha eel and a tardigrade.
They're so cute.
So they are. And they roll up like roly-polies at the end.
I need them to make a stuffed animal out of them to go along with the stuffed Moopsie that came out. Like, I need a collection of cute Star Trek things.
It is, yes, and stuffed Moopsie is one of the cutest Star Trek things ever made. So you mentioned the scientist, the ecologist Zirkle. He, we later find out he's actually a Clicket, but he's disguised as a Grazerite, which some people may remember as that's the same species as the president from DS9's Homefront and Paradise Lost.
Mm-hmm. 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 So yeah. So we've got that, and we'll come back to the bagoons. And then Billups reports that engineering has replaced all of the corduroy rocks in the ceiling panels of the bridge. And then we get a beginning of an explanation of their purpose. He says, their non-centrosymmetry disrupts the charged leptons in the isolinear pathways of the main deflector, and then he gets cut off.
Yeah, and
yeah.
So that's it. I love that we've got an explanation for the rocks that fall from the ceiling that has been around for decades. It's also the name, and this was confirmed by John Van Citters, the current director of Star Trek
I was going to look this up. All right.
It is a reference to Marion Cordry, who was previously the director of Star Trek brand management at CBS and the director of the Star Trek Library and Archive.
Cool. Okay.
I love that.
Because the Cordry had thrown me off, because I was like, I don't know any Cordrys that are associated with Trek, and the only thing I could think of was, or the only person I could think of was Rob Cordry, and I'm like, I don't know how that connects at all.
He's never been on Trek, as far as I could recall.
No, but old Daily Show fans.
If there was a show that he would be on, it would be Lower Decks, though.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, there's a lost opportunity. All right. And Shax is having a freak out moment. We will come back to that, of course, but he runs out.
He was possessed by the paw race at first.
I didn't know what was going on with him.
Everybody I have talked to has said that they thought it was a paw wraith to start with. Yeah, that either he was possessed by one or there was one that was like dogging him for some reason, which I think was intentional. You know, I think that was an intentional misdirect on that part.
Yeah. And because, I mean, the red eyes and all the Bajoran symbolism, and yeah.
Yeah. And then we have end the meeting with the Cerritos cheer. just cute. Makes it so that you don't take the upper deckers too seriously. I can't imagine a situation where you'd have a meeting on the Enterprise D end like that. So
yeah, could you imagine Picard leading a cheer?
No.
You would think he'd be possessed, or there'd be a replica of him or something if that happened.
Yeah, it would be like that episode where
like
Picard was replaced, and they knew he was. They knew that he couldn't be the real Picard because he was like all cheerful and socializing.
What was that episode? Allegiance.
Leading songs in the bar. Yes. Which actually had the guy. That's where I thought I always get the species that this guy was pretending to be confused with the guy who was the pacifist that was stuck with them.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of what they're called, but
I don't recall what they're called either.
Yeah, that's okay.
Are you talking about the pacifist who, like, fell in love with Beverly and then...
No. On Allegiance, there was Picard was
okay.
stuck in the room with the ensign, that guy who was the pacifist, and then a Nausicaan. A cadet, excuse me.
Right.
And she wasn't really a cadet.
What did I say?
Yes. You said
ensign.
ensign.
Yeah, no. Ensign. I did say, okay. Yeah, she was a cadet, but she wasn't. But, and then the guy who was going to eat the pacifist, basically.
The Chalna.
Kind of looked like
Isak the Chalna.
Yes. Not a Nausicaan, but he
he is from Mizar 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I just found it. The character's name was Thol. Tova Thol. And yes, he was of Mizar 2.
Yeah. And I don't know why.
Donnie and I are both on Memory Alpha.
Yeah,
Literally, that's right.
And I knew you guys were, so I wasn't. So
Memory Alpha, quick reference, love it.
Memory Alpha's the best. All right,
except for everything about trying to browse their website on mobile, which is garbage.
Oh, yes, okay,
yeah.
The information on Memory Alpha is awesome. Sometimes but
Memory Alpha,
Alpha's
if you're
fault.
listening,
that's Wiki's fault.
Please, for the love of God, turn off the thing that always shows a video that stays on the screen when I'm scrolling on mobile, because no one wants that ever.
No, we don't.
All right, so then we get to Freeman's very busy schedule, which starts with a sousaphone recital from Ensign Barnes, who is still recovering from getting turned into a super smart Neanderthal. Very TNG. Right?
It was so TNG.
The next thing is going to a fertility event, which is a polite way to say attending a birth.
Yes.
That was a wild scene.
It was.
Just a bit.
I
It
was
was.
just like, what is happening right now?
I love the bit about, I didn't even know you weren't human. Because there's so many.
I get that a lot.
And the balloon, it's a life form. Yeah. So.
Steven's quick with that umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
You
kind
know,
of disturbing.
I love that umbrellas exist in that century still. Like I thought that when I saw it, and I was just like, wow, umbrellas still exist. They got great staying power as an invention.
It's one of those things that like you can tweak it, but the basic idea is so sound that there's really no reason to change it. You know, you can put the clear covering on the outside of it so it covers more, you know, but it's like basically that's it, you know.
Okay, now
And
I'm
then we
looking up
have
when the umbrella was invented because I have to know.
We need to know
That's a
who
good
invented it
question.
too, because we got to give credit to whoever invented the umbrella.
Fifth Dynasty, Ancient Egypt, around 2450 BC.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
wow,
gonna
okay.
say the concept has to go back all the way.
Wow.
You know, various changes for mechanics along the way, but the idea of let's take a piece of cloth and hold it over our heads with a stick so that we don't get wet seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Cool.
The oldest
well, maybe-
extant example is from Sargon of Akkad in 2310 BC in so yeah.
Not to be confused with the
Not to be confused with Sargon from
That's what I was thinking.
Star Trek TOS, yes.
I
No,
thought you were,
that's what
I
you're-
was like, wait, an umbrella appeared in that episode? That's what I thought you were saying. Not my brightest moment.
No, that's okay. And this shows my political junkiness because I didn't go to Sargon from Star Trek. I was like, not to be confused with the asshole YouTuber Twitter guy from like a decade ago.
Oh, okay.
Who was
But
called Sargon of Akkad.
there is a surviving stele. Is that how you pronounce that word? Chrissie?
Stele?
Okay, stele, depicting a parasol being used by Sargon of Akkad.
That is so cool. God. I love history. Okay. You guys know that.
I mean, I hope you do.
Yeah.
You do? You do?
You've devoted your whole life to something that you don't like if you don't.
Chrissie, this
Yeah.
realization.
Anyway. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Anyway. So then that brings us to Bingston's one-man show in which he describes his feelings of loneliness and isolation as if he were Geordie and Roe and in a slightly different dimension. So again, more TNG reference. And then we have Stevens falling asleep the way Riker did during
Data's
Ode to
poem.
Spot.
Act 7,
Uh-huh.
the Oberth year.
Which another Schisms reference with the Ode to Spot, but yeah. Bingston, I never kind of know what to. He just seems a bit over the top, so
Yes.
but that's what he's supposed to be. Yeah. So that is Freeman's schedule thus far. We see then Ransom has to be the liaison to Professor Zirkle. And they're trying to get one of those bagoons into the cargo bay, Beta and Delta shifts, but they can't, and then they lure it in with a rock, which again makes me think of the tardigrades and Discovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when they captured that asteroid, with the power of math.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Power of math.
Love me some Tilly.
Mm-hmm. And the bagoons are very agitated, and nobody knows why. We find out later it's because there's clickets nearby. The thing cloaks and starts rolling around, destroying everything in the shuttle bay.
They use their hide to hide.
That was beautiful. Yes. Yes. Ransom starts telling a meaningless story. So you guys have to tell me here, because I feel like I am missing the reference on this one of having somebody start telling a story in the middle of an emergency or something like that. I don't know.
It feels like
Could
it
not think
is
of-
referencing, and it's tickling the back of my brain as like there might be something, but I don't have a specific example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe too. I remember Chakotay sharing a lot of stories, like for away missions and stuff. So that, and I also remember he conveyed the stories though in a very like Rikerish. I mean, everything about him is very Rikerish, right?
Yes.
So
Excuse me.
Okay.
I just need to take exception to the idea that you're saying everything Ransom is Rikerish.
Yes.
I thought you were saying everything about Chakotay is Rikerish. And I was going to be like,
no.
what on earth are you talking about?
Chakotay, of all the first officers,
Ransom
is probably the least Rikerish.
I'm
suggesting that they are combining like these different like classic first officer role dynamics.
I was going to say, Chakotay
Ransom.
could never hope to have the amount of Riz that William T. Riker exudes.
The Riz. Oh, he has so much Riz. I can't get over him just choosing to work out in the middle of a crisis. I was like, this is funny.
Perfect Ransom.
Because I feel like isn't. Is there an example in Star Trek of a commander deliberately like doing a bad job so that the underlings will figure it out and pull together? Because I can't think of anything. I mean, there are examples of that happening, but I don't think there are examples of it happening deliberately.
I have a vague memory. Yeah. I think it's early Voyager where Chakotay, was it when it was like first season when like B'Elanna and Carrie were trying to like argue over who was going to be chief engineer or something. Oh yeah. And I remember Chakotay like having like this hands-off approach, being like, you do you, don't come to me. Like, I'm going to let you set up your own failures kind of thing. That's kind of how that's the immediate parallel I went to.
Yeah.
Maybe?
But that may be an obscure one.
But like
no. When you said that, all I could think of was the Maquis way or the Federation
like
way, and then he punches somebody. I don't remember.
That always felt more to me like an example of Chakotay not being used to being in Starfleet anymore and not realizing how it should be done than some sort of inspired leadership technique.
I'm still I know at the end you're supposed to have the impression that Ransom did that all on purpose, but I'm not entirely sure that he did.
I think he did, because like it feels like the sort of thing he would do if we look at the way he mentored Mariner over the years.
True, yeah.
It feels like the same sort of approach.
That's true. Yeah.
That's a good point.
All right. The storytelling was what got me, because it was just like, we're going to stop in the middle of an emergency,
and they all
and
just
I'm going to tell a story.
Circle up as
sit there
as the cloaked dragoons or dragoon is wrong. That's
dragoons. It's all right. There could be cloaked dragoons there too.
I mean, a cloaked dragoon would also do a lot of damage, but
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sure the listeners will tell us that we're missing something very obvious. I just kind of, it's there in the back of my head. The closest I can think of is when in Darmok, when they have this lull between the creature trying to kill them overnight and Picard starts telling the story of Gilgamesh. Yeah, but that isn't even really. They're not in immediate danger. It's just, yeah.
The only other story. Oh, go ahead, Thad.
I was gonna. This is an aside, so if you have something valid to say, say it first.
No, I was gonna say the only storytelling thing I can recall is that was it a 6th season episode of Voyager where Neelix has the Borg kids and a crisis is happening.
Oh, the haunting of deck whatever it was.
Deck 12 or something.
Yes,
and Neelix is just like distracting them while all hell is apparently breaking
and they
loose.
keep poking holes in his story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good episode, yeah.
I was going to say that the scene where Picard tells the story of Gilgamesh to Dathan is a big, like, I love Darmok. I love everything about it, but that right there is a big example of the enormous plot hole of Darmok, which is that if you can understand the story, you can also understand what he's saying, even if he's not using metaphor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, you have to have a language to understand the words to tell the stories that you're using. Like, it. Anyway, sorry.
No, don't be.
That's a very
It is a
salient
huge
point.
Yeah. Yeah, so Ransom is telling stories and they're listening and then they decide to actually fix things. It turns out the scientist is a clicket and that's what's freaking everybody, or all of the bagoons out. Meanwhile, Shax is battling his astral projection of my unresolved rage from the occupation. I love this.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of the episode. This is the most Trek part of the episode because it is something that is being presented in a slightly humorous, easier to understand way, but is a very important thing about people dealing with PTSD and terrible things that they had to do in their past to survive.
Yes.
And I just, so good.
And
so
it
good.
very much continues what we've already seen from Shax. We've seen plenty of instances where he clearly does have unresolved. I'm thinking the famous fighting fascism is a full-time job scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I loved at the end, like, there was, like, that conversation between them, like, while they were all dining about, like, the importance of, like, arming yourself with weapons, mental health-wise, with the Dr. Miglimo said, right?
Yeah.
He's like, can we start now?
When can we start? He
So
bangs
good.
the table and scares everybody. Yeah. And that's when Ta'ana gets the whatever she was eating lands on her. Have we see him at the Battle of Tempasa in his mind? Have we heard about the Battle of Tempasa before?
I
don't think so.
Mm-mm.
So that's a story I want told as well. The
Memory
Cardassians
Alpha
put an
only
explosive in an
references this
artifact.
episode in the article about the Battle of Tempasa.
Okay. Well, somebody write a book about it. Yeah, so the meditation and like the whole way of dealing with this. And then of course he gets all the
A
clickets
novel about Shax's resistance years would be amazing.
Yes, it would.
I would read the hell out of that.
Yeah. All right, people. Somebody write that.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I said that weirdly. I don't know why. So yeah, that was beautiful. Billups is then dealing with an engineering emergency
I'm sorry.
because
Memory
No, go ahead.
Alpha knows less than Alex Perry.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
No, it doesn't. On Alex's
Much as I love Memory Alpha.
review of this episode on Trek Core, he says that Tempasa was previously referenced in the DS9 episode Ties of Blood and Water.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
I love
Memory
that.
Alpha is a wiki after all, so
Mm-hmm.
you have to give it at least that. Yeah. Right. So then we have down in engineering, Billups is doing his log. He ate a bagel. It gave him a tummy ache, but now he's okay. And Ensign Meredith has found an indicator light, which she thinks is just a bad indicator light. And it turns out we have glowing red-hot plasma canisters that have to be replaced because engineering, you know. And then they have to scale up the walls in engineering to fix them. And then they have to reset a coil relay that Billups replaced kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say half-assedly, but that's not
Haphazardly?
it. It's, haphazardly. That's a good word. That's better. Billups replaced haphazardly that has an AI security golem. The classic trope of the computer is trying to kill us. And then, yeah. And then it's reset by a sad story that demonstrates the humanity that the computer does not have.
Yeah, that is an interesting point.
It's Kirk talking down to computers. I mean, that was where I went with it.
That's where I went to.
And then Ta'ana has to deal with complaints about her pain management. I think this is the most we've ever heard out of Westlake. I feel like we've not seen him do more than about a sentence before.
I was trying to think if we'd ever even heard him speak before.
And maybe not.
It's interesting, for the episode that focuses on the upper deckers, we are getting a lot of the actual secondary characters who have always been sort of background characters who this episode as well.
If we're comparing this to TNG's lower decks, this is the Nurse Ogawa character that goes in both places.
Yeah.
You know,
And Ben the barman, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say another one that like stood out for me was all the scenes with Billups and Ensign Meredith. Ensign Meredith has been around. She was in she's been in a couple episodes. Interestingly, we also see this episode. We see Ensign Moxie. That's the short, the one with the short red hair in the.
Okay.
And Ensign Moxie and Ensign Meredith are both voiced by the same person, so I find that interesting, amusing.
Makes it easy.
Charlotte Nickdow was the voice actor for both of those. Yeah, so I just thought that was an interesting parallel, because I looked up, I was looking that up because I know I've like, and Memory Alpha just lists those two characters, so I guess they've had other Australian voice actors on because or they're not crediting everything, because we've had a few other female Australian characters I've noticed anyway.
No, that's all right. Is it possible they're all her?
That's what I'm wondering.
The same actress?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of the one where the senior staff are off doing and there's a temporary captain.
Yes. Okay.
And it was one of Meredith's
I know
old
the one you're
friends from the
talking about.
academy, and she had an Australian accent, didn't she? That's what it was making me think of.
I think I read that more as an English accent.
It could have been,
maybe
okay.
not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Those
I
two
have to go
sorta-
back and watch it again.
Also, those do mix in my head.
They can, yeah. Well, part of it is it's all coming from the same place to an extent. So colonially. So okay, so Ta'ana decides to Ta'ana decides to overcome her very high pain tolerance by having Westlake perform random surgery on her, or just start cutting her with a scalpel. And then at one point she's got a helmet on with a bunch of eels in it. Yeah, and then the Clickets attack. So when we come back to Ta'ana, she jumps out because it tries to kill her. The Clicket shoots her with a phaser. That was set to kill. So am I.
So am I!
It starts.
That was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I love her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's the best. So it's found out because Freeman and Stevens come across Zerkel, who's got part of his face falling out of his disguise. And then Barnes comes in and knocks him out with her sousaphone. And then we have this moment where they are shooting, and she uses the sousaphone to blast, to redirect the blast back toward them. Did that make you think of anything?
I do not know where you're going with this, actually.
Spaceballs.
Oh!
There's a scene in Spaceballs where Barf rips some coils off the wall, and they shoot, and it goes right back. It goes through the coils and goes back at the Spaceballs. I was just like, if they did that and didn't have that reference, I can't imagine this group not having that reference. This group of writers and people involved in this, and so
for
I
sure.
love it. I love it.
I like that Freeman thanks Barnes for her help, and Barnes is like, well, thank you for coming to my concert. And then she looks at her sousaphone and jumps. She's like, oh, sorry, I thought I saw fire.
That was beautiful. And you can logic it out. You can be like, oh yeah, the light reflects on the sousaphone's brass. It looks, yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
I had to rewatch that whole sequence like 3 times because I was like, there's so much happening here.
It
It's
is.
so
It's
unhinged.
very full. Wonderfully so, yeah. So then we hop over to engineering, and Billups is in a tube full of coolant that's killing him, and he's fine with it.
This is how all engineers want to go. At work, in a
Yes.
tube.
In a tube. Yeah. And then Meredith's like, no, well, you can this is easy. I can break you out with my Starfleet branded axe, because everything has to be Starfleet branded. And then they fix everything with a lot of technobabble that I'm not even going to try to.
It was so nice to hear the
Try to get
technobabble,
into.
though.
It was beautiful, and they
I
did
was
it
like, I
so
needed
well.
it. I needed to hear the technobabble.
And then the cadet comes up and says there's a broken something or other, and Billups is like, let's do that.
It sounded like something completely like obscure and easy to fix, though. Like, there's a loose bolt on the door.
Mhm.
Let's fix it. Even though we just dealt with like a warp core breach crisis, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then back to the shuttle bay where the lower deckers decide that they're going to spite Ransom by actually fixing the problem. And then the Bagoons try to break into Shax's quarters, but he's in his Cardassian killing trance, and so he kills all of them. The one's still twitching. It was, oh, sorry, bro. And then Freeman gets to the bridge and compliments them into submission.
Which was
It's
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah.
When honestly, she could have done that far sooner, but that's kind of
Well, she
classic
didn't.
Trek.
That was when she remembered what they were.
right.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. It was Chekhov's Click It or something.
Yeah. What a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it ends on such a beautiful note because Stevens has made arrangements in the schedule to make sure that she can have a visit with the Admiral, her husband, to celebrate their anniversary, which is so sweet. And of course, it's the holodeck from We Always Have Paris.
Mm-hmm. Also, as they're releasing the space cows back to back into the wild, they have little research tags on their ears, which I love. And
she says at the beginning to make sure that none of them, none of them defecate on the hull, because it's hard to clean. And then at the very end, one of them like farts next to the
really? I
next to the
missed
ship
that.
and then rolls up. Yeah, it's the one that rolls up into a little ball like like one of those pill bugs.
Nice.
And then we're back in the bar. You know, everybody's recovering, reviewing their day, I guess is the way to put it. And the lower deckers are saying, "Oh, seems like we missed something, but we weren't involved, so it couldn't have been anything important."
So good.
Good episode.
Excellent episode, yes.
Do you know, when you watch a Star Trek show, have you ever gotten to a point like in any of the shows where you're just like, this feels like a comfort show to me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's funny because, like, I mean, as much as I've loved Lower Decks, it's taken me longer to get to that point with Lower Decks because of the short format, because of, like, the level of Easter eggs. So, like, the end of this episode where it very much ended with so much classic Star Trek stuff, but then all of them celebrating their, like, camaraderie. Like, I was just like, this finally feels like a comfort, like, watching this.
Oh, that's good.
And the fact that it's ending, now that I've gotten to this comfort level, I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's like nobody learned anything from Enterprise. But that's fine.
Right.
The people who learn things from when Enterprise got canceled are not the ones who are in charge of deciding these things. And that's what I have to remember.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I would also argue that Lower Decks has more universally positive feedback from the fandom than Enterprise ever did.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not saying Enterprise was bad. I'm saying that a lot of people hated it at the time.
Right. It's still kind of polarizing to this day, but like, it's much. I think it's much more accepted than it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like it's an interesting comparison to what happened with DS9. Because DS9 seems about universally loved now, and at the time and shortly after,
now it's like
it was all or nothing.
To say that DS9 is your favorite Star Trek series is almost like just the mainstream opinion for a lot of people. Which DS9 is my favorite Star Trek series, but
now see, I feel Discovery is going to age like fine wine, like DS9. So I
certainly hope
you're right.
Considering how polarizing that has been.
Yeah.
If it's a new Star Trek show and if it's not polarizing, is it a Star Trek show?
I mean,
well, that's a point. Well, Strange New Worlds, I don't think anybody was.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is a good point.
Well, no, you know what? There were people who complained, and I think reasonably so, that we did not need another straight white guy at the helm of a starship.
Yeah.
But that was not the same as the way that these other ones were polarizing.
No, I would say, I mean, you're never going to have any show that all fans like, but I think Strange New Worlds comes as close as you can get to the universally liked in the fan base currently.
Yeah,
sure.
I
agree.
For sure. It's the one with the whales of the series of the modern era.
Yes.
All right. Well, anything else we want to discuss on this, about this episode, or?
I love it. I love Lower Decks. I'm mad and sad that there are only 2 more episodes.
That's exactly how I feel.
Well, on that note, Donny, thank you so much for joining us for the discussion today. Where can listeners find you online, and what current and upcoming work would you like to mention?
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure joining you all. So you can find me on YouTube, Donny Winter, Donny with a Y, mind you. And you can find me on my website, donnywinter.com. I don't have any new projects I'm starting. There's actually a project that I am ending. Our podcast, Restitching the Tapestries, last episode is next week. So we are concluding the show. There's been some extenuating circumstances that have kind of led to us ending the show, but we feel really good. We've done 5 seasons, like 180 episodes. Like, for a podcast, that's a pretty good run, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
But we are leaving the door open if we ever want to revive. So, because we're already having that conversation. I think it's going to happen, but we'll see.
Maybe, once every couple of months, like Lower Decks might end up being.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, let's keep saying that until it manifests.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thad, where can people find you when you're not testing your pain tolerance?
I would never do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That just sometimes I can't come up with anything.
Best place to find me is on Blue Sky. I am at tyrannicus.bsky.social. You can also hear me on the podcast I do with my friend Carl, Licensed to Spiel. That's licensed spelled with a C like the British do it. We started with James Bond, went into other spy things, and ran out of that. So now we are doing Columbo. Our first Columbo episode just dropped this week.
And you're set for like years now.
Yes.
Which is all right.
Chrissie, where can people find you when you're not trying to catch invisible space cows?
Oh, yes. Very important work. Yes, in addition to here in Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on the BQN. I swear to God, I know I've said this a gazillion times, but we will be back full force over the break and then going into the new year because this semester has been insane. Anyway, so that is the twice weekly short history podcast I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. I'm also happy to chat about our shows in the BQN Collective on Facebook and in the Discord. And I am on the various socials except for Twitter at The Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics.
Don't forget all our other great shows on BQN. Here's a recording of Amy Nelson to tell you all about them.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin, and a guest, as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed, but should definitely check out. Hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Szilagys, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissie and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissie and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Treksperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch The View Screen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on what's the tea about. And for our Patreon members, we have the Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
If you want to reach out, you can find the network on the socials at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at INIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and join our Discord server. When you next hear from us, we'll be talking about the penultimate episode of Lower Decks, Fisher Quest. Until then, peace and long life. I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. But
You're fine. I'm feeling all over the place myself. So
there's a mystery / black comedy series on Amazon Prime. That's, I forget what it's called. It's Lock something, and it's or it might be Deadlock. But it's set in Australia.
Okay.
But when I was watching the first episode, it wasn't until like 3/4 of the way through that I realized it was set in Australia and not like Northern England.
Okay.
And then like at that point, then I'm like, oh no, these do sound like Australian accents.
All of this,
and well, because, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
It's something Loch is the name of the episode. Name of the show. Something Loch, like Loch, like the lake in.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking lock, like with a key.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that part of it, like that makes me think UK. And then the show is sort of like everything is like slightly tinted blue in that way of modern television. Not like bright blue, but like
it is Deadlock. Yeah.
Deadlock, yeah.
I just looked it up. Yeah.
But like there's an ever so slight blue lighting to it. In the way that a lot of modern television is, but that like generally is used to convey colder ares. Normally when shows are set in Australia, they're slightly tinted yellow. So like 3/4 of the way through this episode, they mentioned like Melbourne, and I'm like, wait, oh, this is Australia.
I adore how your attention to detail in one area blinded you to detail in the other.
I know, right?
I have had that happen to me. I totally understand.
Yep.
You get focused on, you're like, this is the thing, and that's why it is, and then you just miss everything else.
Anyway, I do recommend it. It's hilarious, but also very dark. So I if you haven't seen it, I do recommend it.
All right, I'll add it to the list.
I believe it is described as a feminist lesbian dark comedy murder or something to that effect.
I'm immediately interested.
I like it. Yeah.
There are so many lesbians in the cast.
That's good.
Oh, I don't know about the cast. The characters. There are so many characters.
It's a deluge of lesbians.
Yes.
Love that.
Like they even make jokes about how the town is like way gayer than it has any right to be in the show.
All right.
Anyway, let's get back to Star Trek.
Yeah.
Good luck editing a coherent thought out of that.
And it's okay. I'll figure it out.